Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session about the book, The Mature Student's Guide to Completing a Doctorate. For those of you who are joining remotely, my name is Sinead Hewson, and I wrote this book in response to, I suppose, my own experience in completing a doctorate between 2014 and 2021. And one of the challenges was that for me as a mature student, I found it very difficult to just signpost my way around the system where it was pretty much designed for people who are studying full time and have full access 24/7 to the people and the resources on their programs, while a lot of people who are working and studying remotely or part time are in to college, they do the work and they come back out again to develop their ideas. So what I did was when I got my doctorate, I was looking at what was missing, and I spoke to doctoral candidates, some who had completed their doctorates, some who'd dropped out, others who were thinking about it, and supervisors and so on, to find out a little bit more about what were the things that were needed in order to complete a doctorate. So for me, what surprised me was I thought it was going to be about finances and getting grants and how you basically manage financially throughout a program to keep going so your head is clear. And actually, what came up were four different things in the pattern of the conversations that I had with these candidates. The first part was around motivation, and by that, it's about really recognizing that you really need to believe in what you're doing, but also work on a topic that's going to be of interest to you, because it can take between 4 to 7 years to complete a doctorate, and you're going to fall in love with it and also out of love in it during that time. And it's important to be able to, at least have something that you genuinely believe can make a difference. So that was a really important part. And also making sure that you have the support network around you in order to cover things. So if if you've got a young family, maybe for the times where you need to really go into deep thinking and writing, that somebody could babysit for you, or care for older parents while you're trying to kind of focus on this area is really important. Because I think the one thing that I really learned from this whole process, and part of the reason why I have the session today, is that it isn't a case where you just dip in and out. When you're undertaking a doctorate or any type of deep project where you're looking at change or innovation, you go very deep into a subject. And it takes a while to get kind of into it and really think through and process information. So that concept of time is quite different from a typical work environment. So that I found really interesting. So the second part that came through in the themes of the conversation was about being organized. And when we talk about being organized, it's actually taking responsibility to recognize that this is your doctorate. So you're not you don't wait around for people to serve you. You actually have to go and take the initiative and find out things yourself, and also solve problems yourself, because the key aspect in relation to a doctorate is that you are working at a very high level, world-class expertise, which is what you're being examined on. And you also need to be able to problem solve, think critically, and really work through and get things done. And this aspect of organization is very important. So one of the interviews that I completed, I think I found the quote great, because it was actually about saying we don't need to be told what to do. We just need a signpost in the right direction. And this is what this book is about. And the third part was about progress, and that's recognizing and acknowledging when you're progressing and moving forward. And progress can be a completion of an annual review. It could be that you've managed to unpick a problem or an issue to come up with your version of what that is. So that aspect of progress and celebrating it is very important, because a lot of the literature talks about the difficulty of completing doctorates, how hard it is, and the burnout rate amongst researchers and so on. And I think the thing that disappointed me a lot was actually that a lot of it was framed in negativity around how difficult it was. While I see this more as an opportunity for profound personal and professional transformation. And yes, that's difficult, but at the same time, it turns you into a better version of you. Somebody who is, will look at things with a more critical eye, who will be good at evaluating and comparing and contrasting situations, but also looking and recognizing and being very discerning about what is credible information or not. And I think that that's a very important aspect to look at as well. And then the fourth part of the feedback and the pattern that came up in the interviews was about well-being and the importance to look after yourself, whether it be getting enough sleep, having the right glasses, or eating the right foods. It's actually taking care of yourself so that you can actually do the work really, really well. And that aspect is something that, you always see this stereotype of people, burning the midnight oil. And yes, of course, we do that. But you also have to make sure that you get enough sleep, that you continue exercising and keep fit and really live a healthy life so that you become the best version of you. And, you know, if I look at the key around this, and it's in chapter 7 of the book, it's this idea about finishing. It's worth the effort because, no one can ever say that this is going to be a really easy thing to do because it's challenging. It's like running a marathon. You don't just go in, finish it, and that's it. You train and you develop and you adjust your pattern and you take care of yourself over a long period of time to achieve a particular goal. So in that respect, the Mature Student's Guide to Completing a Doctorate acts as a signpost for a lot of people. And what's interesting is that I don't get people to read the book in one go. What people are tending to do is they'll pick out an area that they're interested in, they'll read chunks of information that they find very helpful, or they might use one of the checklists in the book or forms in the book to actually work out, for example, well, what is an area of research that I would look at? Or if there's a piece of technology that you need to invest in, what is it that I need? And does the university have access to that piece of technology? Or do I have to invest in myself? So there's lots of very useful checklists that are there really to get you thinking to say, okay, how do I move forward on this? So, a lot of people have found it very, very useful in that aspect around well-being and the idea of, for the times I felt like I couldn't keep going, I opened up the book and this piece kind of helped me reframe and I moved forward as well. The the other area where people have found it very, very useful is the section that relates to the viva. So the viva is the piece at the very end where you are defending your work. And what it is you are meeting peers who are going to challenge you and actually make sure that the work and what you're proposing hypothesis-wise in your research is in fact of a doctoral standard. So they are there not to catch you out, but they're there to actually make sure that you are the best of the best and that you know what you're talking about. So that piece is very important. And in the book, what we have is an overview of the viva and also about how you would put together your thesis. If it's a thesis that you're writing, some people will might have to create a new piece of knowledge or a piece of innovation. Others might be publishing a number of articles. But what I think is important is that in this overview, what you will see are an idea of what the viva is about. And also the structure of the typical thesis. So the abstract that you need to write, which summarizes what the research is about, but also the kind of literature review and state of the art. So looking what current thinking is on a particular topic and where you think the gaps might be that you could hone in on your research. So the feedback that I've had on that part of the book specifically has been very positive because it's very tangible and very practical in relation to getting your head around the framework of how you bring all of these many years of work together into a document, an article or a thesis that actually reflects or summarizes your work and your knowledge appropriately. So that has been really, really useful. So they're the kind of the main areas that I just wanted to highlight in this section. Here I have the book where you would see it on Vital Source. It's there's a hard copy version, but there's also you can get it on Kindle as well. And I think what's nice about certainly with the Vital Source access or the ebook version, is that some parts of this are editable, and you're able to really look and see how you are kind of keeping kind of on track. If we click to chapter 9, and then you're able to really see what the kind of issues are here. So we have a chapter summary here, which gives an overview of what the book is about. So you can actually see chapter by chapter what each part of the book covers, so you can decide whether it's worth it for you. So I hope that this is of use. One of the things that I've found when I've been talking to people one-on-one, helping them in formulate their proposals for either funding or for the doctorate that they wish to undertake, is this idea of, am I good enough? And the concept of, I suppose, dealing with what's known as imposter syndrome. And what I think is important for you to recognize is that you are an expert within your own field or your own area. And what a doctorate can give you is an opportunity to articulate that at the highest level in a very expert way. And having the confidence to work with peers in order to follow through and express your knowledge. But what you will find is that the way you express that information is using what's known as an academic tone of voice. And that is different to the tone of voice that you would use within the workplace or within your kind of day-to-day practice. So it's important to recognize that the academic tone is slightly different, and that's where a lot of people struggle with in the beginning. But it is a very exciting time, and I do hope that you will explore the possibility of completing a doctorate. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. My name is Sinead Hewson. My email is sineadhewson@unconventionalinnovators.com. And you can also get me on LinkedIn, and there's an Unconventional Innovators link on LinkedIn. There's a page there. And very happy to answer any questions that you might have, or if you want to have a phone call just to brainstorm ideas, I'd really love to hear from you. So thank you for joining me, and I hope this Meet the Author session was of use. Take care.